Hello everyone! In this lesson, what I want to do is pull up the Thinkorswim platform and look at how some of the factors we just discussed actually change the option's price. This is not something you need to take notes on. I just want to demonstrate how important these main pricing elements are in affecting the option's pricing, so you can see firsthand what small changes can do. For this demonstration, I'm going to use a tool within the Thinkorswim platform called TheoPrice. This is a tool that will allow us to hypothetically change elements of the pricing model to see how it would affect the option's price. Here I have up NVIDIA, and I am looking at the June options. If I look at the 138 calls, which expire in 24 days, I see it has a current mark price of $4.02. Now, let's see what happens if I make some adjustments to the pricing factors discussed in the last lesson. I want to start off with the strike price. Looking at the calls, it's easy to see that the lower the strike price, the higher the option's cost. In the case of puts, the higher the strike price, the higher the option's cost. Not surprising, this is due to the fact that the deeper into the money we're allowed to exercise our option, the more value that option is going to be worth. Options that are out of the money today can finish in the money, but if they don't, they become worthless. So let's see what happens to our 138 call when we adjust the price of NVIDIA. In this example, all other pricing elements will remain the same, but the price of the stock will shoot up $5. Here, the price of the option changes to $6.72. Clearly, this has a very large effect on the option, because the likelihood of the option finishing in the money is substantially greater. If the stock dropped $5, the option pricing for the 138 call would instead plummet to $2.13. Without a doubt, this type of movement in the stock would cripple these options' chances of finishing within the money, and the option pricing now reflects that. I want to reset the stock's price back to the current price, and I want to look and see what happens if we were to change the date with no other pricing factor changing. I want to see what will happen with each passing day. As we gradually go through the days left until expiration, we see this poor option is slowly but surely losing its value, day after day decaying a little more until finally the option's price approaches and then reaches zero. Remember, an option will only have intrinsic value when it expires, and all out-of-the-money options will expire worthless. So, if NVIDIA was to expire next month at the price it's currently trading at now, the 138 call would have no intrinsic value. And since it's out of time value, this option is now worthless, and anyone who bought this call would have lost their entire investment. Let's now reset our position and have a look at what happens to option pricing if the implied volatility changes. If you recall, when implied volatility rises, then that stock's options, both calls and puts, will also rise in value. So for this example, our stock is going to stay the same. Our days to expiration is also going to stay the same, and only implied volatility will change. Let's assume a random market event happened, and the implied volatility has jumped up 30%. This has changed the option price from $4.02 to $8.28. So if we were long this position, we have greatly benefited from this spike in implied volatility, and our position is now profitable without any change in the price of the stock. We could then sell this option back out right now for a huge profit. Keep in mind, these are isolated cases where we look closely at just one pricing element of the stock. But in real life, all of these elements are always changing. So let's take a look at how pricing of an option might change in a couple more scenarios. How about we look at the price of an option 10 days from today, and the stock price is going to be up $3. That would likely drop implied volatility by probably 0.5%. This would result in the option price of $4.44. Obviously, we lost value from the decay, which is unavoidable, and we lost slightly with the decrease of implied volatility. But we were able to make up for both of these factors due to the price movement in the stock and still turn a slight profit. But keep in mind, we called the direction of the stock right. It moved up $3, and we still only made a small profit. Another situation. This time the option increased by $5. However, it took 3 weeks for this to happen. and implied volatility is still down only 0.5%. Here, we can see the stock went up by even more than our first example, but time decay is really starting to eat away at our profits. We were right about the direction of the stock, but it took too long, and that time decay is costing us big time. This time, even though the stock is up $5, we lost money. How about one last situation where the stock price has a $1 increase? Only a week has gone by, but implied volatility has dropped by 20%. We still have a lot of time to expiration, but because the stock is not expected to move much over the period, it has little chance to make any significant upward movement, and the price of the options now reflect that by dropping significantly. The option is now only worth $1.34, even though the stock price has gone up, resulting in a huge loss. Looking back at the option, as it turns out, in most of these situations, we ended up losing money even though we called the direction of the stock correctly. If we would have just bought the stock, we would have been better off. So you might be thinking, why did we even buy this option? And my answer to that is, exactly. We bought the option in all of these situations. The person who sold the option was in a better position to win right from the start, and in most cases, they did. The problem is most new option traders do something similar to this. They buy out-of-the-money options and then hope that the stock's price movement more than makes up for the loss in time decay and volatility. However, getting the stock movement right is difficult, but at the same time to also have it move up by an amount large enough to counter the time decay and implied volatility, well, that's hard to do. The fact is, people who end up buying options typically lose more than they win, and oftentimes a lot more. Fortunately, you don't have to be on the buy side. Once we understand how options work and how we can limit our risk, even when on the sell side, we will be able to take advantage of selling options and getting time decay and implied volatility to work for us, not against us. While everyone else is concentrating on the price of the stock, we'll be laughing all the way to the bank. Most option traders fail because they're trying to predict where the stock is going, and in the process cash in a big payday, but over the long haul crash and burn time and time again. The advanced strategies that we're going to implement will not concentrate on where the stock is going, but instead on where the stock isn't going, and then collecting on the time decay and the volatility changes. I hope you're getting excited because we're not that far away from getting into the advanced course that's going to make us the real money. Please make sure you understand everything up to this point and be sure to take the quiz. I look forward to seeing you in the next lesson.